Hey there everyone, welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's another support-based episode today, but because a lot of it is the A support, it's very interesting to see a lot of character revelations and arcs come full circle. You know, we're starting with Hubert, and this one is where we really get to see his, like, general motivation outside of just following Edelgard, because again, when you find that out, then it makes sense as to why he, you know, what do you call it? He follows Edelgard so much, because it, you know, he feels the same way. He feels, you know, the fact that the world has gotten to the point where they just people blindly believe in a deity and stuff like that, and you know, and you know, because a lot of, you know, obviously they praise the gods, but the gods don't technically do anything from a more logistical point. So obviously he finds that absolutely ridiculous, that people are just kind of, the world is governed by blind faith, and you know, that's a bit, yeah. So obviously he feels the church is just kind of like, you know, it's kind of like a weird system where, you know, you're believing in something that's not physically going... Obviously, you know, religion is more of a spiritual thing. It can help guide you through life. But obviously, when you look at it more logically, it's highly questionable just because you believe in all stuff and we're supposed to believe in this God that does all of these things, but there's no actual evidence to dictate this. And, you know, so on. Plus, you also, you know, Rhea wasn't even human, and yet we're being ruled by literally a different species. Not a different race, a different species completely, so obviously that's a bit odd. But it's good to see Hubert's, like, just more of Hubert's actual intentions, because it's not just a case of, oh, I think everyone's like, I don't believe in a world where we just follow a single god and a single church and stuff like that. And I like that about, you know, these characters, because I honestly thought, like, I didn't think I was going to hate Hubert, I wasn't too keen on him, and yeah, he's my least favourite of the Black Evils. Evils. Black Evils. No, least favourite of the Black Eagles, but there's still a lot more I found to like about him. Yeah, he has his moments, but overall, again, I like Hubert, which again, for a Fire Emblem game, the fact that, well, in Black Eagles specifically, there's, you know, I don't dislike anyone, that's a real achievement, I feel, because obviously, in any Fire Emblem game, there's going to be characters you don't like. We're all different, there's so many different characters, there's different ways of writing them, they all have different personalities, there's just going to be some that don't click. But for Three Houses so far, there isn't really ones I absolutely cannot stand. Like, again, I'm not big on Cyril, but that's because I don't know too much about him, even then his support with Petra is really good. And though I hate Rhea, I still think she's excellently written and one of the best Fire Emblem villains. I just hate her on a more personal level. But that's about it. And anyway, we're back to Shamir's one. And Shamir's one's also quite interesting too, because obviously Shamir makes it a point that she's just a mercenary. I just do my job. I just focus on getting the job done. I don't have trust issues. And my past is behind me. But obviously here it's like, she can't actually escape it, because like, as much as you want to distance yourself from your past is what makes you you. It's part of what molds you into who you are. And obviously Shamir still, while she's trying to remain distant and independent, she still, you know, clings to some of those memories, some of those people, some of those moments and stuff like that. Which again, I feel makes her more human. It's like, no matter how hard you try to distance yourself from your past, it will come back to you. Obviously, some pasts are different, you know, you might want to distance it because it was difficult, you might want to distance it because you didn't like what you did, but ultimately, it's a part of you. And yeah, with Shamir, it's her first love, so obviously, that means that's very sentimental for her, because I think that person's dead, so obviously, you know, she takes it, you know, that's probably why she's a bit colder. I mean, I don't feel Shamir would have done drastic change just because of this. She doesn't seem like her person, but obviously, you know, she lost the person she loved, and you know, now because of that, you know, she just a bit colder as a result. But it happens when you do that, especially if she was very close to that person. I mean, if it was a case of she loved him, but it was more puppy love, then you never know. But still, it's one of those things. It just makes these characters so much more interesting. And now we've got Ingrid's one. Ingrid's one is definitely one of the most fascinating examples of turning a cliche on its head. Because, you know, with most of these cliches, oh, my dad wants to marry me off so the family can become wealthy. Usually, the daughter doesn't have a say, you know, usually she's not treated well, or she's oblivious to the outside world, she's more sheltered, and the dad's a bit of an asshole. But this is where it gets so interesting with Ingrid, because Ingrid was given free reign to do what she wants. She, you know, she got to pursue her knight as like her life as a knight, so to speak. Sorry, I'm getting the words jumbled again. And she, you know, not only that, but she was provided for. She was given quite a lot of luxuries at the expense of her father having to have next to nothing. So he did prioritize and care for Ingrid. That's really, really nice. Not to mention, because she's the only one with a crest, she's the only one in the family that can remove them from their bad situation. So it's not just her father, it's the entire family are kind of banking on her. And because of that, she is conflicted because, you know, she wants to help her family, but it means giving up her dream. But you know, her father tries so hard to make her happy, and now, you know, it's kind of like doing this would be the ultimate way to repay him, but she's got to think, again, it's like the Mercedes one, you've got to think about herself. But it is interesting to contemplate this because there are arguments both for and against. I mean, I'm down with Ingrid because at the end of the day, it is her life, and she should choose what she wants to do, but at the same time, the fact that she contemplates this does show that she cares, and I think it's really, really good character writing where it's not so straightforward. Mercedes one was a bit more straightforward, but that was more to do with her just becoming more of an independent and self-centered person for the right reasons, whereas Ingrid's one's really thinking about her being, like, less selfish, but at the same time, how far do you go?
There is nothing to stop me from pursuing my.
But, you know, the fact that, you know, she is, you know, especially because of what's happened, she no longer is you know, she no longer has, like, really ties to her father, so naturally now it's easier for her to move forward. But she's always going to feel guilty about it because it's a big decision and it's going to affect the family forever. You know, it's not, easy. And ultimately, yeah. That's just, you know, just makes its characters more compelling. It's not like Ingrid's being so summoned, like, oh, I'll never submit, I'll never just be a wife. She's like, no, you know, I really, really want to help my dad, but not like this. It's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? Who knows? Maybe she'll enter Fire Emblem Heroes as a brave hero. Oh yeah, so while we're on the subject of that, I feel it's time to address Choose Your Legend 4. Okay, so this is interesting. This is very, very, very... Who's next, actually? Interesting. Oh, it's Edelgard. Okay, so the Edelgard one, as far as the A support goes, it's, well, again, it's not like huge, but you get to really see Edelgard's human side and stuff like that, and just her, you know, being silly and funny, and it's like, it's funny how she's mocking Hubert, how she wants you to call her Elle, and stuff like that. You know, you just, again, I like the fact that thanks to this pathway, despite being an Empress, you see such a more human side to Edelgard than you did see in the pre-time skip. And I think having you here and having all this stuff, all this pressure on her, really, really helps, having friends by her side. Because I imagine in, like, the Thing pathway, she only really has Hubert and her generals, she doesn't really have friends, so to speak. Not because she's an unfriendly person, well, she's a little bit, but just more that, you know, she started this war, and she doesn't have many people on her side, whereas with the Black Eagles and you there, they're all on her side, so, you know. But anyway, back to Choose Your Legends 4. So this is going to be interesting because beforehand, like, with Choose Your Legends 1, you know, it was just popularity contest. Ike, Lucina, Roy, Lynn. They're the most popular, they got it. Choose Your Legends 2, that was kind of the same, you know, you got Hector, you got Celica, you got Veronica, who was, like, the Heroes one, and who else was it? Again, I really, really can't remember. There was Brave, someone.
I think of you as rather
shit, I completely forgot. I know it was Celica, and I know it was Hector, it was Veronica, there was someone else. Yes. Was it? Oh, it was yeah, it was Ephraim. Yeah, there you go. So, obviously, they had Brave Ult, so that's really cool. And with the third one, everyone was going, alright, vote for Arm, because Arm hadn't have enough ults, and also Eliwood was quite the underdog, so he got a lot of votes. But then Camilla got a lot of votes because she's just really popular, and Micaiah too, because she's also popular. So, going into this one, there hasn't been much of a, oh, let's go for this, or building up, you know, oh, let's do this, he hasn't got many ults, or this person hasn't got many ults. So this is going to be interesting. I personally feel that I reckon at least one, probably two, if not three, all three of the Three Houses Lord's time skip versions will be the winners. So Edelgard, Dimitri, Claude. I get the feeling Dimitri has the best chance of winning because his like time skip version is the one most people associate with Dimitri. Now, obviously, you've got two different versions of the cast, but with a lot of people, when they think Dimitri, they just instantly think time skip. Well, it's so nice to see Edelgard just so, yeah. Oh, she's getting flustered. But so, obviously there's them, maybe another Three Houses character. But when it comes to the main lords, that's the thing, who do we go with next? We've only really got Alencia, Erica, Marth, Sigurd, Selith, Leaf, and Crom. I'm sure there's one I missed, but, you know, it's mainly just those characters, and none of them are that big, to be honest. They have their fans, don't get me wrong, but none of them are huge, like, you know, like Ike and Hector levels, and stuff like that. And, you know, even Ella would just about scrape by because, you know, a lot of people have played FE7, so, you know, he's got that going for him. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Oh yeah, also, this Hanneman support, again, I really do feel Hanneman has some of the most interesting supports in the game because of how wise he is in the advice he gives. But this one I really like as well because, yes, he wants to learn more about you, but, you know, he's also very open to saying, look, if I want to learn about you, I think it's fair that you learn about me so we can both understand where, you know, we can both come to a thing and you can understand where I'm coming from. So I think that's really cool. And I also like that Hanneman isn't really cared about nobility. He's not exactly against it, but all he cares about is just doing quest research, and that's what matters to him, and laying the groundwork for other people. He's just really into that, and I think that's really cool about his character. There's just something, you know, he's not a stubborn old fool. He's just very wise. Yeah, he can get a bit carried away with his experiments and so on, but he's still a very nice man and he's a very good, humble figure. But going back to Choose Your Legend, I was going to say, so I think Erica has a decent shot, because as far as the rest goes, I'd say she's one of the more popular lords that haven't got one yet. Because, you know, quite a lot of people have very sacred stones, and, you know, there are Erica fans. Honestly, I think Marth has a good shot, just because he doesn't have one, and he's Marth. Yeah, he's not one of the popular lords, but come on, he's Marth. So I think he has a good shot, in terms of not Free House characters. I think the Free Houses characters all have good shot. Byleth, you know, Thingamajig, I think all of them have a really good shot, just and stuff like that. And again, I don't know if any of the other Fates characters will, because, yeah, they all have their fans, but come on, Camilla's Camilla. She's, you know, she's very up there for obvious reasons. But I'm trying to think of other Fire Emblem characters. I mean, there's always... Oh, yeah. Oh, I think Robin and Corrin, maybe. Because, you know, they haven't got it yet. But even though they're not lords, they're MU characters, so they're pretty big. But, I'm trying to think. Other popular Fire Emblem characters people would really like as a thing. I'm trying to wonder. I mean, I'm doing what I always do. I always vote for favourite characters that aren't in yet. So Jill, Milady, Gilliam, stuff like that. That's the people I'm voting for. Hanneman, enough with the lab instruments, for God's sake. Trying to think who else would be a really big pick that isn't from Free Houses. I mean, unless they want to do Brave Fjorm or something like that. I know someone would love that. And so on. So yeah, this just, I feel this one's very, alright, not counting the Free Houses characters, I feel this is a very open one in regards to the whole franchise when you don't include Free Houses. If you include Free Houses, they're gonna get like, multiple choices. But anyway, we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, Dorothea and Manuela support, and this one's really nice too because it goes into, obviously, Manuela does actually really doesn't like how she behaves and stuff like that. She does get beat up over it. It's not like, oh, this is who I am, you know, just got to deal with me. She's really upset, especially because, you know, she has personal connections to Dorothea and she wants to be a role model for her, but she acts like a twat sometimes. Again, I love Manuela, but again, she acts like a twat. There's no two ways about it. So again, that's quite funny. But Dorothea has always known Manuela to have issues, but that doesn't change how you feel about her, because again, everyone has their issues, don't get me wrong, and stuff, and obviously some more than others, but when you see the good in those people, that also makes you always look up to them, because the good outweighs the bad. In Manuela's case, yeah, she's got a lot of bad, but there's a lot of good too, and obviously Dorothea, you know, because if you think about it, you know, Manuela probably really helped her career and her way of life, and just helped her get here in the first place. Dorothea, honey, I have such a hangover right now. I just can't even. And obviously, Manuela, you know, it means a lot to her. Yeah, Manuela may be a bit of a train wreck, but this, you know, she does get very emotional because, you know, when people look up to her, it means a lot. Because obviously, you know, she's used to being looked up to by just the... what do we call it? Alright, Manuela, that's a bit much. She's used to being adored by the public, but when you're adored at a personal level, which again, what she wants a husband, or just a partner, you know, it really means a lot. Especially to come from Dorothea, who's basically like a daughter to her. Basically. And the A support is also kind of funny too, because they ultimately say, look, if we don't find love, do you just want to kind of get together? Which again makes sense for them because they're both searching for that one person, and ideally they'd like to have a different partner, but there's always, you know, you can really tell these two are very close, and I think it's wonderful. Anyway, we've got promotion time for Mercedes, so we get, I believe, double white magic to use, so hooray for her. So, yay! What happened? Absolutely nothing. Oh well. It is funny when things... Oh, plus the defense though. I'll definitely take that. It is funny when, you know, they, what you call it? Oh yeah, so this is the start. I just want to show the other bit. So Foreign Land and Sky, that's the Bernadetta Petra paralogue. It's an interesting paralogue, I'll tell you that much. But this one I think works well for the two of them, considering their support isn't very strong. Because it's, you know, it's a paralogue that takes place in Bridget, so obviously that's away from Fodland. But taking Bernadetta there, she gets to see, obviously it's a big leap for her because she's not used to going to new places in general. So going as far as Bridget is going to be quite thing, especially because, you know, different dialect over there. So that's very, very, very difficult for her. But then when she gets to go there and actually sees it and all the wonderful plant life and all the stuff, it's really, really encouraging. Because, you know, that's like traveling in general. It can be scary because there's a lot to, you know, cultural differences, language barrier, different lifestyle, different climate, different ecosystem. It can definitely be scary to go to different places. I know, you know, I remember, you know, first time I went to Ghana, I was nervous, especially because I was young. Because again, I'd never been to an African country. But I did end up enjoying it. It was an interesting experience for me. And it's been like that wherever I go. Some it's easier than others, like going to Australia, because they speak the same language and your lifestyle's kind of is, you know, it's a lot more Western, so that was easier to adapt to. But, you know, when I went to Cuba, that was definitely an eye-opening experience, but it was also very interesting too. Going to these countries, yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of difficulties, but you gotta, yeah, going to these different cultures, open your eyes, and you can see just what they have going for them. And obviously there's always good and bad wherever you go. But I look forward to visiting other places, you know, eventually. I do look forward to, at one point, getting over to America. I know it's very similar to the UK, but there's still a lot of differences. So, yeah, that'll be interesting.
What? Professor? What did I do to deserve this?
Like, God, I went to the supermarket, for God's sake! The supermarket! Come on! So obviously, you know, Bernadetta, it's a big leap for her, and she's still thing, but, you know, thanks to the time skip, she's at least willing to go, so she's got that going for her. And, like, because again, if this was pre-time skip, sorry, I think I said pre before, sorry, I'm going to say post-time skip, but if this was pre-time skip, she would have, like, literally had a heart attack and stuff like that. But now she's a bit more confident, thanks to you being there and just thanks to evolving more. So, yeah.
What's the point of lending a hand?
Oh, Petra. Honestly.
What?
Again, I imagine trying to flirt with Petra so difficult because she takes things so literally. But anyway, so, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this part. So next time, we're doing the paralogue that involves Bernadetta and Petra. And oh my, is there a lot to deal with. And oh, there's poor Pegasus Knights. Until then, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Take care and have a wonderful day.